This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Chicken Scarpariello, kind of a tricky thing to pronounce. It directly translates into shoemaker's style of chicken. It's an Italian-American rustic dish made with sausage, chicken, pickled peppers, a really tangy brown sauce. It's really kind of a joy to eat. But there's this restaurant that made it so good that I remember growing up and eating it all the time, and I'm really trying to recreate that. So today we're gonna make chicken scapariello, so let's just jump right into it. So the dish is kind of got a spicy aspect to it, but you can control it depending on whether you like it really spicy or kind of just a tad spicy. The first way is the sausage that you pick, and I have this sweet Italian sausage. If you use a hot Italian sausage, that's one way to bump up the heat. And then we have the hot pickled cherry peppers. Since I'm gonna make this a kind of on the more mild side, you're gonna be more sparing with the peppers and the juice, because we're also gonna use some of this juice. The juice is really spicy, so that's a way you can control it. But if you're trying to make it mild and it's not tangy enough, which is kind of the key characteristic of this sauce, then you add a dash of vinegar. It's gonna make it perfect. I'm using the chicken thighs today. I'm gonna cut them into like little medallions, and we're gonna dredge them in flour, and they're just gonna be like little morsels that we can kind of cook the hell out of and braise and become nice and tender. If we just cook these through, then they kind of get a little chewy. You really kind of gotta take them further. They break down a little bit. There's collagen and connective tissue in these. It needs more time than chicken breast, so it's perfect for this recipe. And then I have these fingerling potatoes. I thought I had more, but this is enough for one portion of potatoes and one serving, which is all I need today. And these are real simple. We really kind of just have to start these off with some water. Gonna add some salt, and we're gonna cook these until a fork can pierce them without them sort of splitting at all. Just cook through. We don't really want to cook them beyond, because we're gonna split them in half and then roast them till they're nice and crispy. So get this on the stove and cook them about 10-15 minutes, and we'll give them a check when we're ready. This is a much thinner sausage than normal, and I kind of prefer it this way, although you can use a thicker sausage for sure. I kind of like to just cut them into little pieces like that. Sausage is cut. Now we gotta cut our chicken thighs. Now whenever I cut chicken thighs, I always feel around where the bone used to be. Sometimes they did a lousy job trimming them up. If there's any bone, you remove it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna cut the chicken thighs into about 6 pieces. Chicken's cut. So I kind of want to just cut them into small slices. So I'm just gonna cut it in half, like that, and then into slices. Now just slice up some garlic thinly. And then mince up some fresh parsley. It's been about 15 minutes now, so my potatoes should be properly par cooked. I just poke them with a knife and they poke through easily. Bring them over to the cutting board and just slice them in half. And then get them onto a sheet tray and just hold them on standby. So we've got everything ready. Now before we jump on over to the stove and bang this dish out, we need to take a minute to thank our sponsor today, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes to teach you new skills. You gotta have the skills to pay the bills. Come on. There's thousands of different inspiring classes ranging from photography to writing to creative design to even cooking. Skillshare has classes to fit your unique schedule and skill level. Whether you're an amateur or professional, there's something for you to learn. It's curated specifically for learning, which means there's no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes, and it's all less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. Right now I'm trying to improve my design skills for my brand, so I'm taking Design Great Stuff, How to Make Merch with Draplin by Aaron Draplin, designer and founder of Draplin Design Company. So I can sort of up my design game. I'm also feeling like my production is lacking. Maybe it's what's going on with the world, I don't know, but I need some help. So I'm taking Ali Abdal's Productivity Masterclass, Principles and Tools to Boost Your Productivity. Great classes, I suggest you check them out. And it's pretty easy to do so because the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link down in the description will get a free trial for a Skillshare premium membership. So you can dial in those skills and pay those bills. Get that free trial for that Skillshare membership. And thank you Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Let's just go on over to the stove and I'll show you how to get this done. Now get a large, high-rimmed saute pan on medium-high heat and let it preheat. While it preheats, add some flour to a bowl or a pan and then add the chicken, season it, and get it coated in the flour. By now the pan should be hot, so add the sausage and cook that until it's nicely browned on both sides. Get the sausage out of the pan, add a touch more oil, and then neatly add the chicken thighs. Now I know I always say never crowd the pan, but I'm not worried about overcooking this chicken, and I don't want to do it in 2 batches if I don't have to. If I just get them all snuggled in and be patient, manage the heat and the amount of oil I'm using, I'll be able to brown these chicken thighs perfectly without the flour burning or the chicken overcooking. Once you get really nice color, flip it, get some color on the other side, and then remove the chicken from the pan. Add the onions and then cook those until they are translucent and the juices start to partly deglaze the bottom of the pan. Then add the garlic and the pickled peppers along with the pickling liquid. The amount of pickling liquid you add and the amount of peppers you add is going to determine the spiciness of this dish, so add them accordingly. Turn off the heat and then add the wine, and then get the heat back on immediately and add a couple tablespoons of the white vinegar and then reduce that for a couple minutes. Once you can see it's begun to reduce, add some brodo or some chicken stock, preferably homemade, add a rosemary and thyme bundle, get the chicken back in the pot along with the sausage and bring that up to a boil. Now we can get the potatoes in the oven. Coat them with oil and season them with salt, give them a toss, and then place them flat side down. Get them into a preheated 450 degree oven. That should take about 15 to 20 minutes to get the right color and crisp I'm looking for. Potatoes are optional here, so I'm not including them in the quote-unquote one pot that I'm using. Now the sauce should be at a boil. You want to drop it down to a fairly strong simmer and braise everything until the sauce thickens and the chicken is tender. Think of the dark meat of chicken the same way you think of like a pork shoulder. If you just cook it through, it's going to be tough and chewy, but if you cook it longer, the connective tissue starts to break down and it makes something that's tough into something that's tender. Now the potatoes are coming along, they're almost done, but I'm looking for a deeper color on these. So back into the oven they go for another 5 minutes and they should look like this. Flip each and every potato to skin side down and then pop it back in the oven for a final 5 minutes just to get that underside nice and crisp. Just remember, time's not the best indicator for these, the color is going to be. Now we got to finish up the sauce. It's looking good. We just got to remove the herbs, give it a taste, and then adjust the seasoning. I kind of want a little bit more tang, so I'm going to add some more vinegar. You do this to taste. I'm going to add some salt and some pepper. Once the seasoning is on point, turn the heat off, add some cold butter, mix that in, finish with some fresh parsley. Your sauce should be perfect, thick, glossy, tangy, and delicious, and you're ready to serve it. So good. Best part is that sauce. Get some good bread. We've all had a good brown sauce before, but with that hit of vinegar and those pickled peppers, there's like this tangy yumminess that you just can't stop once you start eating this. Everything's cooked well. Chicken is tender, not tough, not chewy. And the sauce is nice and viscous, so it coats to that sausage and that chicken. So you gotta give this a try. You just might love it. Did you get your Hate Less Cook More hoodie yet? The link is down in the description, so please go check it out. Got some new Champion hoodies too. So I got this one. This ships to Europe. The one I always wear, Champion doesn't. So that's the only trade-off. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Thanks for all my patrons scrolling up on the screen right now who support this show. If you want to be a part of that community, there's a link down on the description and on the screen as well. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.